In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, Lord of the Beneficent, the Merciful, Lord of the world. Master of the Day of Judgment, Thee alone do we serve, and Thee alone do we seek for help. Keep us on the right path, the path of those whom Thou hast bestowed Thy favor upon, not of those whom Thou art on Thy wrath, nor of those who go astray. It is for this cause, Allah, will we rise on the perfect seven. We say, repeat after me. Sevens up. Allah, the Father of the universe. The Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day. Through His holy prophet, M.A.G. Amen. You see it? Right? Isaiah. Salvation. Islam. Constitution, salvation, our God, unity. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of Moorish America are empowered to make laws and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of Moorish America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if it is according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the citizens of Moorish America. Bylaws. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Fridays are a holy day of rest because on Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For this cause Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all citizens of Moorish America. No citizen is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother and sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All citizens must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all citizens must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. No organization of Moorish America is to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws of the government, laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all citizens must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of the said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folk, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained M.A.G., the Prophet, to redeem His people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All citizens must promptly attend their meeting and become a part and parcel of the uplifting acts of Moorish America. Moorish Americans must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of Moorish America, and then you are entitled to the name faithful. Husband, you must support your wives and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, M.A.G., through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Islam? Islam. All right. Yes, please. So, today we do know, we're going to go over our one-on-ones in just a minute, but I wanted to begin by saying it's always great to come back and see everybody again. Brother Khalid, along with a couple of others down and getting prepared for our after festival, what is called the Vegan Festival. So the agricultural department, they're handling, selling, watermelons, fruits, and all that different type of stuff. So we're gonna make it do what we do in the meantime. Last week we picked up on a lesson. We're gonna pick up from there and try to move, because what's currently in the news right now, if you think about it, there's been another shooting in El Paso. Over 20-something people, I think, is killed, dead. And then just last night at 1 o'clock, another shooting in Dayton, Ohio. All of them, of course, are basically who supporter, Trump supporter. And one of them left a manifesto telling you the reason why he did what he did. Said he's actually was scared of a quote-unquote Latin or Hispanic invasion. So 21 years old, that's the reason why he did what he did. Then another thing happened in Ohio again, then that's another Trump supporter. So if you all look at it, what's happening, and this will probably be part of the teachings that I'm going to do later on. In this country, you got to remember why the country was founded. And just as a lot of us, quote unquote, are fighting for rights, remember they're saying people have rights too. And what they're saying is one way of life is infringing on their way of life. If the country is divided, quote unquote, 49 or 59%, whatever it is that you want to look at it to the other half, that means there's at least 40%, let's just put it there, of a segment of the population that feels a certain way. They say we live in a democracy. Technically, the Constitution itself does not even basically require a democracy. What does it require? A republic. In a democracy, quote unquote, it says the majority rules, right? Republic, that's not what it is. So we got to understand what we're dealing with and what we're facing with, and then how do we fix that situation? How do we save our people, and how do we make sure that we're teaching the people the right way in order for them to save themselves? So that's what we're going to get into today, because believe it or not, a prophet came with the only solution for our people. Only solution. And he said, if you don't get behind him, the worst is yet to come. And I truly believe that that is so, and it's about to get ready to creep up on us, because after the president gets back in office, we can tell you exactly how bad it's going to get. But that's just being bold. The KKK has actually openly endorsed him in their paper. So right now it's to the point that that population that I spoke about, that 49 or whatever it is, or 50%, I say it's even higher than that they feel a certain way. And what does all this boil down to? If you look at it, when the country was founded mostly by them, by Europeans. Now, how people want to trick it and twist it and whatever it is to make you feel good, you can say what you want to say. You can call a rabbit what a lion a rabbit. What is it? It's still a what? It's still a rabbit. Call it what you want to call it. It is what it is. What the foundation is founded for. A lot of it hurts my heart, because when you look at it, a lot of us are not people that if one of us had done something what we did, to be thrown under the jail, because that's the way it is. But now, if it's an Arab person or he's a terrorist, right? Then you go back down the line. But anytime one of them commits such crime, what is it? We got to find a solution as to why. What's wrong with these young children doing such and such and such? Why is it that they're looked upon differently than the rest of us? You got to continue asking yourself those questions. So, all right, let's have a little fun. Oh, you didn't come to receive. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, let's get this. I got it. You good? Yeah. I'll do this one today. So what I'll do is, let's get into our one-on-one real quick. You can go first. Huh? I get it. The car? You sure? Your choice, because I figured. You got it? Okay. So, we have a good thing that's basically set up. I'm going to tell y'all, based upon the Declaration of Independence, once again, there's only one way to the salvation of our people. And I keep telling y'all, and I'll say it again, there is a way for it to be done. The prophet brought the way. We got to follow it. Let me get into this right. Good to have you, media. How you doing? Hi. All right. So let's get into the good part. Should have had this, I guess. Brother Charles just found out that he's going to be with Cali as well.
He left off at 48 last week, the last time we met.
Yeah, what I'm looking for, I don't see my question and answers. I want to put it up on the board.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. I didn't move anything. Okay, here we go. So we're going to put it back on the main. the button. What number you stopped off at? 48, you said?
Yes, sir, 48.
48? Okay. So these are, is it on there? I think you may want to put it in one, I think. That's number one. It's warming up. It's warming up? Okay. What does that mean? There it is. There it is. It should be. It's in two. Should be spinning, circling. There it is. Okay. Yeah. So, you got it? Focus it on it. Everybody can see that?
No. Well,
Okay, there we go. All right, so the reason why Noble Dry, let me give you the history of this. The reason why Noble Dry put these questions together was because when he said the only form of slavery we have now is what?
mental.
Mental slavery. Why mental? Because somebody had taught you or had given you some type of understanding outside of self. So putting these questions together, what it does now, it actually starts to reprogram the cells in your brain and makes you start thinking things a different way. Because you have to know the first command from God is what? Say it again, y'all sound like y'all scared.
Know thyself.
Know thyself. So if you don't know yourself, the true essence of self, what happened? Anybody can manipulate you. Anybody can tell you I found you in the jungle with bones in your nose, etc., etc. So he put that together. It's called Moore's Questions for Children. So a child can be of a young child, meaning age-wise, for instance, anywhere from 2 to whatever it is. We're thinking a child. But a child can also be what? An adult.
That's right.
That's why in Jehoshaphat, Jesus said, unless you become what? As what? As a child. Because now you've grown as meaning physically, but then you're not understanding, or you don't have the basic, right, maturity into what you need to know. So that's what he did this. So we're going to pick up on question 49. Question 49 is, this was based upon truth. So the answer, I know it may seem a little lost. You get back up to it, brother. I know we'll get you back in. So can truth change?
Truth.
Answer?
Truth cannot change or pass away.
Okay. Give me an example of that. Why cannot truth change nor pass away? Anybody? Right?
Well, if you go to the previous,
Really?
right?
Really?
Oh, Islam.
Islam.
Islam. I'm Gerald Muhammad Bey, right? I give praise to Allah and honors to the Prophet, praise to all of you, honors to all of you, and Moors everywhere. Right here in the lesson, like you said, the Prophet didn't leave us, you understand, without any course, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, the previous question, is talking about truth, right? And the question, right, 47 says, what is truth?
Islam.
Says truth is all. Then
Right.
when you go to 48, it says, and what is ought? Ought is Allah.
Mm.
So this is one of the main reasons why truth can't change.
Makes sense?
Truth is absolute.
Truth is absolute. That means
Right.
God just is.
Right.
And if he is, there is nothing else because he is the one. So then even, I'll give you all a little trick again. So when it says, well, hey, in Masonic secrets, when can you be the widow's son? What does a widow mean?
One without father.
One without who?
Without father.
No. What does a widow mean?
That's right.
One without a husband. And then question number 1, ask you again, well, who made you? Right? Who made you? Answer? Allah. So if Allah made you and Allah can't die, can you be the what? Son of a widow? No. You can't.
Impossible.
It's impossible.
Yeah, and you just made me realize, right, like in chapter 1,
Mm-hmm.
talking about Allah being the husbandman.
That's exactly why I put that in there. So let's see how powerful your prophet is. Then the question then becomes again, then if you can't be, or if they can't be a widow, because the first question they ask you again, well, who made you? And then there's another question we ask, well, who is Allah? Answer is what? Who? Allah is who? Allah is who? No. Allah is the father of what?
Oh,
You see again? The father of the universe.
right.
To be a father, that means you must have what? Children. You getting it? So now, when Masons come to you and they talk differently, they mean you gotta get back to the core to understand it. I can't be a widow's son.
Right.
God can't die, and if I come from God, that means I am a part of Him as He liveth. What? So do I.
That's divine covenant.
That's the
Your
divine
children
covenant.
of one father provided for
By who? By His Spirit.
And rest of one another.
Has given you what? Has given you son. See? So, back to chapter 1 again, it says that He is what? The husband. You understand? Once you get the lessons, then you get to see and you just start piecing and parting things together apart from people. Alright. So now, what other name do we give to truth? Answer, it's on the board.
Holy breath.
Can't read my family.
Holy breath.
Holy breath. Okay. Holy breath. You can touch that one. I'm going to move on. Breath of life.
That's chapter 1, 2.
Chapter 1, 2. What have you to say about holy breath? Answer.
All we can say is it's great, it is good, it was, it is, and evermore to be.
Okay. Amen. Now, let's touch it now. Who is worthy of all praise? Okay. So what it says now, who is it that's great?
The holy breath.
The holy breath. So what is the holy breath? Okay, all right. Which is the spirit of who in what? In man. So who made you again? So Allah breathe forth what? The 7 Elohims?
Right.
Okay, now we can speak them.
Creative faith.
Creative faith.
7, which is also the 7 universal principles of mentalism, correspondence, vibration, rhythm, polarity, cause and effect, and gender.
And gender. All that it is to be forever. Greatest. That's a good measure right there. We're gonna get you up to that. At what place on the earth was the first part of man formed?
In the Garden of Eden,
Garden of Eden. Where is the Garden of Eden?
in the land of Canaan, in the city of Mecca.
What is the modern name for the Garden of Eden?
Mecca.
Okay. Make Chicago your Mecca. Leave that alone. What is the name of the first physical man?
His name cannot be used only by executive rulers of the AC or the MST of Ag.
What are the words of the AC and the MSTA? What do they mean?
Chamber of the Moorish Temple of
So can his name be used?
Here.
Huh?
Huh?
So can the name be used?
Yes. Here.
Answer is yes.
Great.
Answer is yes. Who were Adam and Eve?
They are.
They were the mothers and fathers of the family, Asiatic and Muslims.
Look at that term, Asiatics and Muslims. Asiatics and Muslims. How many races are there?
2.
2 races, right? What are they? Asiatics and what? No.
Oh, Christians.
Say it again, somebody said it.
Christians.
No, Europeans. There's only 2 races. Asiatics and Europeans. There's only 2 races. There are different nations from those races, but there's only 2 races, okay? So when anybody asks you, what's your race? The answer is what?
Asiatic.
What's your nationality? Okay, oh, so y'all thinking now. Good, good. See how simple that is. Where did they go?
They went into Asia.
Went into Asia, right? Why did they say went into Asia? At one time, the whole world was considered called what?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Now watch this. What are the modern names given to their what?
Children.
And the answer is what?
Asiatic.
What did I just ask you? What's your race?
Asiatic.
Okay. That's why anywhere you go on the planet Earth, you find who?
Asiatic.
Anywhere on the planet Earth.
Yeah.
Who is guarding the holy city of Mecca today to keep the unbelievers away?
Angels.
What is an angel?
Angels is the thought of Allah in the form of flesh.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. See that? I know that's right. Okay. We're going to work this today. All right. Now watch this. What is the shade of their skin?
Oh.
Somebody speak on that. Look what it just said. what is the shade of their skin? How many shades of olives are there? They got 3 shades of olives.
More than two.
There you go.
Two, black and green.
There's more shades of olives.
It's not 12.
What shade are we?
Uh-huh.
What shade are we? Go ahead, speak.
Out.
Olive, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the word is relevant, right, to any well, in modern day terminology, any melanated type.
Ah, so now we're getting into it now. So when you look at us, right, how many shades do you see amongst our family? Many shades. Except what? You can find, because the pale skin, although it comes, you can say come from us, they still not part of it. You understand? They're not Asiatic. Got you? You got that?
They're not human, right?
I didn't want to say that. Being recorded. Are the Moorish, this is a good part now. Are the Moorish Americans any relation to those angels?
Yes.
Okay, so we got to keep in mind what the part where it says Asiatics, and now it's telling you that the Moorish Americans now, so we can say Moorish Americans are who? Asiatics. And the reason why I'm saying this is because later I'm going to show you some things where it comes from the Allah Temple of Islam, showing you that how the answers and the teachings have always been there. It's how people put the teaching and when they decide to put the teachings out, okay? Another part. Actually, let me do that.
Finish that one.
Did we finish that one? Okay.
But the answer is very important to understand.
Okay, hold on. Go back to it.
63.
Yeah, hold on. 63. Are the Moorish Americans any relation to those angels? The answer is?
Yes.
We have what?
The same father and mother.
Okay, and what? If I may.
Speak, yes.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
What is being said there?
There's a question on the floor. I'll read the question again. Are the Moorish Americans any relation to those angels? Answer?
Yes. We all have the same father and mother.
Mm-hmm. Anybody want to speak on that?
Means we're all brothers and sisters?
That's deep. Next. Anybody else?
The Creator created all of us, children of Allah.
I mean,
Islam. The reason why I brought that up because we had this on the conference call about a week ago, in Sunday school class. And, most naturally, most people are related to the manifest. But remember the key question, the key in the answer is, right, we are all, right? So that eliminates the individual mothers and fathers. So when you go to your holy covenant, right, you are the children of one father, and the breast of one mother has given you. So this is dealing with the very highest plane, from the spiritual plane. That's very important to know.
where all your nutrients come from.
Because the European is not part of that. He's the man-made man,
Right.
not the God-made man.
Not the God-made man. Now, I want to show y'all something real quick. If it's probably on my phone, okay. Now keep in mind what we just read. And what I'm about to show you is some early history of Islam in America and the early movement. Highlighted portions. It says Mahmud, 6026 South Vernon Avenue, Prophet of Allah Temple of Islam. And it goes here. Okay. Who can tell me who Mahmud is?
Where's that?
Who's the name? Can you come in? I'm gonna get you. Mahmud. And then if the Allah Temple of Islam stemmed from the Moorish Science Temple of America.
Okay.
So what happened is this is speaking when Noble Drew Ali has actually passed and the movement is being spread a different way. And I gotta say this because I'm gonna give you the history. I'm gonna touch this, I'm gonna come back to it. But keep in mind, we gotta figure out who Mahmud is. Okay? It's an alias. That's all I'm gonna say for now. But then we're gonna read it, okay? So they say it's typical of the propaganda of these what? Extracts from what? Specifically written what? Quran furnished by who? By the members, right? So questions are, who were Adam and Eve? Answer, what? The what? They are the mother and father of what? The human family. A.G. who? Asiatic and Muslim. So we're dealing with Asiatic, we're dealing with Muslims. Okay? Watch the teachings. This is the early teachings, okay? Then it says, who is guarding what? The holy city of who? Mecca. To keep the unbelievers away. Did we just read that in our one-on-ones? Did we just read that in one-on-ones? So now what I'm showing you is the one-on-ones came first, which was actually brought by Noble Drew Ali. First to step. These teachings are basically from Allah Temple of Islam, which actually stem from the Moorish Science Temple of America after Noble Drew Ali passed. Everybody with me so far? Okay. So we understand that how well Allah Temple of Islam is using what information that's already brought by who? By Noble Drew Ali. Then it goes on and says, who is guarding the holy city? Answer is what?
Angels.
Angels. What is the modern name for what? Those angels. Answer?
Asiatic.
Did we just read that?
Yes.
Did we just read that?
Yes.
Okay. Now watch it out.
I just figured it out.
You just figured it out? Okay.
Something you said.
Are we Moorish Americans any relation to those? Answer, angels? What does it say?
Yes.
Read on. Why?
We all have the same father and mother.
Where did you just read that from?
One-on-one.
From the one-on-ones, right? So now we got to get the question now. Wait a minute. Allah Temple of Islam stemmed from Moorish Science Temple of America. What else stemmed from the Allah Temple of Islam? What's the next formation? The Nation of Islam. So there's your history. So then the question becomes now, who is Mahmud?
Elijah Muhammad.
Elijah Muhammad.
Elijah Muhammad. Those are one of his aliases. You follow me now? So we are one family. We just got to get back together. What? It'll all come back full circle. I wanted to give you that history to show you that how, based upon scripture, based upon history, based upon prophecy, the one who came to relieve or redeem his people, according to even who he says right here, Act 6 of the Constitution, it says, for this cause, what does it say right here? Noble Drew Ali, there we go.
Yeah, the Bible.
Okay.
It's called Allah-Majid.
Of God, for this divine covenant is provided by a holy prophet, what? Noble Drew Ali, but it says, for this cause, what? Noble Drew Ali was ordained by who? Allah to do what? Redeem his people from what? Their sinful ways. So in other words, the one spoken of who was supposed to come and redeem his people, he brought the lessons. The lessons are there. We're on point. Everybody good with that? Everybody get an understanding of that?
Yeah.
Okay. You need that? I thought I gave you that one. I didn't give you that one? Okay, I'll hold on to that. I said that.
And what made me know about it, because when you said the Holy Temple of Islam, right? Of Allah. The
Temple of Allah.
of Islam.
Then it clicked in your head.
Because that's in the Book of Fire, you know, when the cherry put the picture in there, with Elijah Muhammad with the fez on.
With the feds on, yeah. All right. We don't put too much of the information quite out yet, only in front of the right people who kind of do that still. Because what happens is, if you give the information such as these to the wrong people, they use it in the wrong way. Rather than using it for what edification or unification, they try to say, well, I'm better than you, or you better than me, and this, that, and there is none. Why? Because we're all of what? That's a child mentality. We're all of one family, but one father, one mother has given you, you understand? You have to understand that in order to put us back together. If not, separation. And there is once again no separation in what? Is it? Alright, that's why the principle is so important. Let's go on for a few minutes now, then we'll get into our lessons. Islam? Question?
On number 57,
57, okay?
yes, who were Adam and Eve? I'm not sure if everybody else is coming. Mine says they were the mothers and fathers with plural of the human family.
Well, so which one? Well, what's your question?
My question is, what is the significance of the plural?
Go ahead. You want to touch it?
Yes, Islam, right? Allah is the father of all Asiatics, right? So we have to take this, in other words, we started from Ish and Isha, right? And so we fell from our spiritual plane into the plane of things made manifest, right? So when things became manifest, this is the Adam and Eve, right, that's being taught to the mothers and the fathers that proceeded forth from the plane of things made manifest. That's what it's called. And notice they use the word humans. Humans.
Human family.
Right? It's very important, right? Because later on, right, you'll read again where it talks about another Adam and Eve
There you go.
who are, right, those that were cast out, right?
Yes.
And what are the name of their children? You know,
Yes.
Lucifer,
Satan.
you know what I mean? Satan, the
Right.
devil,
Yes.
you know, and those things. See, it's two different things here. And it's the same thing in the Piscean record. That's what most Christians don't understand. When it's talking about the Adam, right, in the Bible, right, if you go into what's called a Strong's Bible Concordance Dictionary, and you look up the prime root of that word Adam in that language, the prime root will tell you exactly what Adam is talking about. What is that Adam? He who turns red in the face.
Yes.
Very plain.
So, yes.
Name of the reason is, I wanted to, ask this question, because I was raised as a Christian, and we got away from that, thank God. But anyway, one thing I noted is that no minister ever taught on all of the children of Adam in terms of the three main children. They always leave out Seth. Because it said that Adam with Eve again, and then you got Seth. And Seth became Abel, and Cain was thrown out of the whatever before Adam and Eve. And I always assumed that the Europeans and Arabs and stuff are part of that family of Cain. Because even when they give the lineage of Jesus in the Bible, it starts with Seth.
Okay. So, what you asking, why they won't teach on it?
Now, I know why we won't teach them about
Why,
it.
why the ministers won't teach, or why
Yes.
you asking for? Well, this is just my opinion. This is just me speaking, okay? Christianity was founded for what purpose? For whose earthly salvation? Okay. So that means if what I teach or what I not teach is for whose salvation? No, what I teach, or no, what they teach or what they not teach is for whose salvation?
Yeah.
Right. So am I going to tell you the truth? Am I going to give you information to help raise you?
No.
The answer is no. So that kind of answers your question to a lot of things. One day it was I was speaking and I was teaching one of y'all. You remember when it says that Abraham had Ishmael?
Yes.
And then later on, Ishmael cast out Hagar and Ishmael because of Sarah.
Right.
Okay. Then it says it took the lad and placed him down where? Hagar took the lad and placed him down by the well because she couldn't bear to see him die, right?
Right, he was about 16.
The key to it, remember that kid? The key to it, then you gotta ask yourself, watch the teachers now. How old was Abraham when he first had Ishmael? Key number one. So then key number two is, how old was Abraham when he had who? Isaac. So because you gotta deal with physical numbers. So now Abraham was about 86 years old when he had Ishmael, right? When he had Isaac now, he was about 112, 114. Older than that. You see what I'm saying? So what happens in Jewish customs now, even in the East, you're actually, by the time you're 12 years old, you're considered almost like an adult. But there is no way Hagar would have actually taken a teenager, the lad, and laid him down in the bush. Why? Because by the time he's 12, 16 years old, he's looking out for who? His mom. He's protecting his mother. So they're not going to teach you that. They're going to teach you the story thinking that I was just a lad. So what do you mean? So in your mind now, you're not thinking logically. You're not putting the numbers together because they paint the story so good. Now watch the other side of the story now. They're giving you answers, but you got to know. Oh, the Arabs and the Muslims come from who? From who? What son?
Ishmael.
From Ishmael. The Arabs came from Ishmael. But Christianity, right, came from Isaac. Now watch this now. So now, God has spoken to Abraham, right?
Yes.
Told him to come from amongst your people, go such and such and whatever it is, the father of the faithful. So Abraham speaks with God. He's walking, doing it. Even when Lot got in trouble, he was with God, talking with God, right? So now, Abraham has a son with Hagar. Does God stop talking to Abraham?
No.
So God speaks with, now remember the customs is now to teach your child, teach him everything that you know until to rear him up. So Abraham spends 16 years with Ishmael. You mean to tell me he ain't taught Ishmael nothing that God said?
Right.
He ain't told him nothing? But remember, 12 years old now, he has to come into his own.
Right.
So what is it that Abraham taught Ishmael?
He told
Islam.
Islam.
Islam is the only religion that God will ever accept. Islam has always been there from day one.
Okay. Christianity doesn't come in
Until later on.
And that's why we have.
No, you got to look at it. Yes, I'm going.
What I want to say is this.
We're going to live with it for a minute. I'm going to show you. Huh?
One of the key factors, Ms. Cole, right? To understand and I just came into this understanding since I've been in the government, right? We have to stop and think now. If you go and check the record, the slaves were not permitted to read.
Right.
So if the slaves weren't permitted to read, who taught them how to read the Bible, which was in English? Common sense. Common sense. You see what I'm saying? So the slave master had to make sure that he taught those who he thought, right? In other words, the house nigga.
Right.
Right? You understand? Look, this is what this means.
And this is what it
You know what I
says.
mean? And this is the way it's supposed to be taught. Because they weren't allowed to read. So they had to have permission, right? And be taught, right?
What
read.
to think.
So now, once we understand that, now we really understand, because one of our other great men said what? If a people won't treat you right, what makes you think they will teach you right?
So that's why Giuliani brought the question in. So now I got to reprogram your thinking.
Right.
So, to answer that question, you think they're going to tell them that Islam is what God taught Abraham, told him to prostrate, told him to build a temple, to build an altar? You think they're going to tell you that in their system? They can't. That's why we have a war against what? Christianity and quote-unquote Islam even up to this day.
The Muslims
Especially
and the Jews.
the Muslims and the Jews.
That's actually what it is.
You see? Now, that's just one piece to answer that part of that question.
Islam.
Islam? Buddy, you good on that?
Yeah.
We can move on? So think about that very often, or very, very easily. Just use your logic. That's why July said, if I can only get you to thinking, you start putting these pieces together and realize that, hey, somebody been tricking us. Somebody been lying to us forever. Now, let's continue and then we'll get into the lessons. What number are we on? There we go. Are we Moorish Americans any relations to those angels? Answer was what?
Yes.
And I showed it to you on the Allah temple as well, right? I showed it to you. So that's where it comes. That's where it came from. Then it says, give five names that are given to the descendants of Adam and Eve. See how that comes back to you now? 5 names given to the descendants of Adam and Eve. Descendants. Okay? Answer?
Lucifer, Satan, devil, dragon, and beast.
Okay? What is the devil sometimes called?
The lower self.
The lower self. Because the lowest is for peace.
So make sure nobody misses. Right? Previous question. Right? And the next question. Right? Go hand in hand. It's letting you know right, when it's saying, right, who are the descendants,
Fallen.
right, of Adam and Eve, right? So if you're looking at this thing from a physical point of view, you're going to miss it, right? Because then the next one says, right,
Mm-hmm.
what is the devil sometimes called?
Oh. You see it now?
The lower self. So
See it now?
these 5 names or characteristics that he
Of the
talked
lower
about
self.
are the different functioning aspects as you begin to descend further and further into the lower self.
Mm. Mm. And then you can have a whole world as we live in today
Right.
that's formulated
Right.
and put together from who? The lower self. So that's why the lower self is functioning on this plane. That's why it says Lucifer is the god of which what? Of the world. So now you have men sleeping with men. It's okay to do, etc. And all these different things. What are those characteristics of what? The lower self. This world. So when the scriptures speak about this world shall pass away or this world will end, you understand? Because what happens is the righteous have to bring in that new earth and that new world. Because we have to do away and slay who? The dragon and the beast.
Yes.
You see? But we have to bring it into what? Righteousness. Does you understand how that works now?
That which is mortal has to become immortal.
There you go. Name them. How many cells are there? Two cells, right? Name them. What people represents the higher self?
The angels who protect the holy city.
Of Maker. Are we any relations to them?
Yes.
Answer. We have what?
Same father and same mother.
Don't play with your prophet. A beast. A beast. What? Okay. What people represents the lower selves?
Those who are cast out of the holy city and those who accept their teaching.
Mm.
Oh, man.
Mm.
You say all of this wickedness in the world that they saying, well, everybody has the right to love.
And accepted their
Right.
teachings.
Right.
Because then you become part of the world. Love not the world, because ye are not what? Of this world.
Right.
Be ye separated
Yes.
one to one.
Right.
Yes, brother.
And the other part, right, was cast out of the holy city,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we're talking about Mecca, right? So what is Mecca? Right? What is the Garden of Eden? Right? All of these are aspects of dealing with the inner self, the
Inner
higher
self.
self.
Yes.
See, so this is why it's so deep. You know, when you know, I remember when I first read this, right? I'm thinking about, you know, that place over there, you know. And that,
Right.
I mean, it is relative, right? But we're always taught, because this is moral science, right? And I'll never forget, right? The chairman said to me when I first came in, and I really understand it now. He said, brother, we have to learn our own language. We have the language that came from our prophet, which is the language of the great God. It's the spirit of the truth. So when we're reading these lessons, man, they're fathomless. I mean,
What?
they have no depth to them, right? Because you're dealing with the highest plane of spiritual life, which is wisdom, our grand national product, right? Down to the plane of things made manifest. So we have, right, a total universal understanding, right, of the higher and the lower self.
And so with Christianity identifies the people,
Right.
but Islam lets you know you are the people.
Well, that too. But what people, that's why I said, what's what Allah said? You are a chosen
Yes.
people.
Can I read this?
Please.
Deuteronomy 14:2.
Uh,
For thou art a holy people unto the Most High, thy power. And the Most High hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself of all nations that are upon the earth.
That's it.
Islam.
Like, that is just so dope, right there.
That's
It's just
what-
like, that is just so dope.
But they're not going to give you this teaching.
No, they're not.
You can't get that from them. You
And
got to
if
get
don't
that
read
from
it
your
for
own
yourself,
life,
you
from your
won't
own
have it
source.
either. Right. Right.
So watch this now. What does the prophet say? It takes a Moorish American to do what?
Teach them.
How to be what? A Moorish American. You're not going to get it anywhere else. Yes, sis.
Question again. You said that the chosen people, we are. What's the difference between being chosen and being natural? Is natural a higher order than chosen?
If you come from God, you're chosen. That's you. And he told you, what the reason why he picked you is not because you did anything good in him. Not because you did any good. A peculiar people is chosen unto himself.
Right.
I asked that question because that when in the legal terms, when they have to do a will, the will is connected to the natural children with or without it on paper. But chosen means they have to be written in.
Okay, so we're dealing with a man's understanding of man's law, and then we're dealing with something that comes naturally from a law. That's just called nature's law.
Okay.
So now what you're dealing with, you're saying, if I am naturally by what you call the right of the blood, let's just look at it that way. What's mine is mine.
Right.
Now, if I have power to choose somebody to do something with it, that's a whole different thing. Because I can choose you and say that belongs to you. But if I come naturally by the right of the blood that belongs to me, what you choose don't make a difference. You understand what I'm going now? Because you by nature or by nature, it belongs to you. You by nature, Allah and you are what? One. It doesn't make a difference even what those are the people over there saying that they are the chosen one. Isn't that what I just said? They're saying they are the chosen one. You can say what you want to say. You can call a rabbit a lion a rabbit. What is it? It's still what? Okay then, so you understand now? Next, somebody had a question. You good? Yes.
Going back to what Brother Hamid saying about Mecca, if we see ourselves as Mecca, as that city, as that holy city, and realize that to do anything outside of ourselves according to the way Allah would have us to do it, then we have fallen.
Of course. Of course.
So I'm just pointing out that I think
Oh.
that as we start to grow and we start seeing ourselves in the words,
Right.
put ourselves in those positions,
Right.
then we know we can understand it a little bit better.
And to speak on that a little bit more, I'm going to go to you. Yehoshua 2,000 years ago, which is Jesus we know, he said what? Greater works than what? These shall what? Shall you do? Because he go and he prepare and do all of that. So in other words, what he has become, so can what?
So can we.
So can we. It's the same thing, please.
Right. I was thinking, you know, what you were saying.
See, the question is, right, in the lesson, why did why did we as Moorish Asiatics fall?
Looking for God as I
Seeking after the gods, right, of Europe, of which we knew nothing about. Now the question is, what are the gods of Europe? The gods of Europe are just what you said. Those things that are outside of ourselves.
Yes.
So this is where our people are today. If you look, right, and see what is it that they cherish, right? The European is putting everything in front of them, right, to keep them, right,
Hold that
from
thought.
seeing.
Hold that thought. Don't put it, brother. Hold that thought. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. I'm going to let you speak on this thing, too. I promise you. Can the higher self pass away? Answer 71.
No.
Why? Because it's what?
Because it is a lie in man.
Okay, now we're going to speak on what you're speaking of. What does the lower self breed? Now watch this now.
There it is.
What does the lower self breed? What?
Hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harms.
So you can talk about hatred. What's happening right now in Texas is shooting up people with Trump. Pure hatred.
Right.
Slander.
Yeah, and
Deceiver.
is one.
Right, another one in Ohio, right?
Yeah.
Lewdness, slackness, women turn up, lewdness, murder. Who's the biggest murderers? You get what I'm going at now?
Yes.
Theft, stole more than anybody.
Stolen niggas.
You understand? Hey, you got one going at now? and everything that what?
Harm.
Your turn now.
Right.
Islam.
Your turn.
So, you know, so now look at the people, right? They don't realize, right, that they're actually, right, chasing after a God. So when you say, right, no, notice what it says, right? We're taught that what is God, right? God means, right, ruler of the land.
Yep.
Wait a minute. So the land, right, where's the land at? Okay? The first land is
Itself.
See? So that's why they are, right, controlling us. They're controlling our people.
Yep.
You see? Because anything that you put before the one true God, right, in the principle that God has set up, the Ma'atian law, right? That's the law of polarity, right? The equal swing, right? Cause and effect on the physical plane and the spiritual plane, right? Okay, you have put this thing, this object, outside of me, which is in you know.
Where is your life? That's what it just said.
And okay, that's what you want to have, right? Authority in your life, so be it.
So be it.
And that's where the people are.
That's what
But
it
they don't see it in
Teach.
that context.
Right.
Teach.
They falling outside,
Right.
they always say.
teach.
The young
There you go.
generation, money, power, respect.
Right.
Everything outside of self. Not understanding that power is the manifest that comes from the force. And the force, right, comes from thought. Which
Yes.
is the great God of love.
So power itself is just an what? It's just an illusion. The force directs it. All right, so let's get into all this. I think I'm done now. Everybody good? Any question, understanding on that? Because I think that is great for you to understand. That helps build. Okay, let's get into lessons real quick.
So we're stopping at
What's
75,
73.
70,
73.
okay.
All right, let's get into the lessons real quick. We're gonna pick back up on where we started. Where we stopped in 1865, right? Y'all remember? We talk about the abolishment of slavery. That's where we stopped at. Y'all don't remember that? Okay, no problem. No problem. But anyways, y'all done hurt me already. So,
Let me get a question.
yes. Huh?
Since you asked the question, I don't think we all heard the question.
I asked where we left off last time that we were talking. We were teaching last Sunday, not Sunday, last Sunday, but the Sunday before. We were going over some timeline. But I think it was 1865.
Found out about an application of the 14th Amendment.
Oh, when we talked about the proclamation, et cetera, right? Okay. Now,
Go ahead.
I put this up intentionally because I want y'all to understand what the main purpose of and what Noble Raleigh was trying to do. If you look at a scientist, right, or whenever you want to study something, you must first do what? Isolate that situation, or isolate it, and then go into it, and then begin to teach and begin to. So Noble Raleigh now, his main function was, according to Acts 6, is to redeem his people. The only way he can do that is to redeem his people, is to have them where he can teach them by himself, free. That's why he set up the Moorish Science of America in the United States, so he's able to teach you the way that he wants to teach you now, without being what? Molested, or basically harmed. But his main job, or his main person, when I look at the question now, this is, and you find out how, so you got to look at the situation of Moorish Science of America and find out if they're doing this, okay? Notice to all Moors, write a letter to the Supreme Business Manager, this is the address, Avenue in Chicago, Illinois, and let him know what do you think of the Moors having their own what? Town, own
Mayor,
own
Alderman.
own chief of police, own judges, city hall, own what? Own lands, own houses, own parks, and own business what? Establishments.
Definitely not.
They're not, right? But what do you think?
Government.
What do you think? This is what?
Government.
This is government. It's government. Why now? So now I'm able to grab my people, put them under one what? One protection, because according to, once again, let's put it up again, the Declaration of Human Rights, what's formed to give people to protect what? Life, liberty, and what? The pursuit of happiness. Governments are instituted among men. So his job was, first of all, I got to teach you how governments work. I gotta isolate you and give you from one step to the next. So you begin with little towns. That's why I said more to live together. So now when we live together now we can do what? We can have our own what? Judges, our own this, our own laws, our own way of doing, functioning as a society. You understand what now? Man, but we gonna get to it. So what are we doing here now? I'm talking about locally North Carolina, locally in between. This is what we're going after. So then you hear some people saying that the temples is the government. What did they just say?
Right.
Chief of police, judges, city hall, on what?
Temple.
So does the temple come under the government or is it the temple the government? Why? Because you need the government in order to protect so that the rest people can do what? They want to worship, they want to build businesses, they want to do this, they want to do that. Then, because what happens now, they're free to do what? Worship. They're free to worship, but you ain't find none of them doing that. Because we're doing what? He tells you we do not desire to amalgamate nor marry into, but everybody trying to amalgamate. Everybody trying to amalgamate. So are they following the prophet? No. The answer is no, they're teaching you everything else. Everything else. That's why we continue being molested. First of all, because we're not following who was sent to give us the salvation that we need.